Their first uniform, their first number, their first teammate, their first goal, their first coach. We take great care in making sure their first isn't their last. We're so much more than a soccer class. Come play with us today at kickstarttoddlersoccer.com.
Hey, give me some of it. Okay, all right, I'm going. The Journey, the Tilton Girls, take one.
My favorite moments ever as a father was the moment she made the A-team.
They would always push me and my friends as well.
Their authenticity and integrity that they were able to do everything with.
I still struggle with a little bit, just like the confidence, like knowing that I'm in a different environment.
I could not be more proud of you, Justice, and of you, Remini.
It's gonna be a roast here.
No, it's not a roast.
Ocean, and it was hard. Don't tell anybody that.
And action.
My dad and my grandfather are officials. I've grown up around officials and seeing how much they enjoy being part of the games. As a student athlete, I've always appreciated the people out there who are willing to give back to the kids. The Legacy program lets me officiate while I'm still in high school, working younger kids' games. Officiating gives me a better understanding of the game. I get to make some pretty good money for a high school kid, and I even get to spend some quality time with my dad. There's help wanted. Just whistle.
Our mission is to help players take their game to the next level and reach their potential. We help players develop fundamental technical skills such as ball control in tight spaces, dribbling at speed and changing direction, using a variety of 1v1 skills, receiving and finishing from different situations such as volleys, headers, one touch, and off the dribble, with and without pressure. In addition, we help players increase their speed of play, dominate with their off-the-ball movement, awareness of space, defenders, and teammates. We offer a variety of services such as one-on-ones, small groups, as well as large groups and team sessions. We have an experienced coaching staff that is professional, friendly, patient, while still holding players to high standards and holding them accountable. Over the past 3 years, we've built one of the best soccer-specific training facilities in the country. We've also developed one of the most detail-oriented training programs to help out players. No matter what level you're at as a player, I'm confident we can help you get better. For more information, visit our website, evolutionperformancetraining.com, or text or call 248-818-3943.
Granite City Food and Brewery has 2 Michigan locations in Troy and Northville. Serves made-from-scratch food, brews in-house beer, and even has brunch every Sunday from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. To learn more about their daily specials or to book a private party, visit gcfb.com. Make sure you head over to Granite City in Northville at the corner of 7 Mile and Haggerty, or the Troy location at 16 Mile and I-75. Now Worrell has a good cutback from him. He'll fire one, and that's going to go in!
We like to do it before we go out on the weekend.
We do.
We do it every week.
Whether we need to or not.
We did it today.
It was really dirty.
My parents do it every day.
Hey, kiddo!
Do it every day with the Unlimited Club, only at Jack's Car Wash. Protect your car from the hot summer sun, dust, dirt, and contaminants all summer long with the Jack's Unlimited Club.
Join today, starting at just $24.99 a month.
Are you looking to grow here in 2023? Let the Michigan Soccer Network help you and your restaurant fill more seats. Help you and your law firm get new clients. Help you and your dental practice find more patients. Find more roofing customers for this upcoming summer. And to help you and your medical practice find new patients. To learn more or get started, visit MichiganSoccerNetwork.com.
I'm a husband. I'm a father.
I'm a sister.
I'm a son. I'm a brother.
I'm a daughter. I'm a sister. I'm a referee.
I'm a referee.
I am a referee.
I'm a referee.
What rhymes with great?
Participate.
Where does greatness start?
Here, in the classroom.
On the diamond.
In the pool. On the field.
Where will your greatness take you?
To better grades.
To more friends.
Yeah!
Be great.
Participate!
Don't just burn calories, torch those little suckers. Base Camp Fitness Troy, opening up this March, will help you get maximum results in half the time. Our intensity intervals of cardio and strength training will supercharge your calorie burn, all in just 35 minutes. Make sure to lock in our founders rate and claim your 2-week risk-free trial by scanning the QR code on your screen. Base Camp Fitness Troy, located at 443 East Big Beaver Road in Troy, Michigan.
Thank you for stopping by the Michigan Soccer Network. To not miss out on any of the action, all you have to do is simply hit the subscribe button, and that way you're notified every time we bring new content or go live. Thanks for stopping by.
We watch soccer on the Michigan Soccer Network!
I watch soccer on the Michigan Soccer Network.
I watch soccer on Michigan Soccer Network.
لا تنسون تتابعونا على Michigan Soccer Network.
I watch soccer on Michigan Soccer Network.
I like to watch soccer on Michigan Soccer Network.
I watch soccer on Michigan Soccer Network.
Me gusta mirar fútbol en Michigan Soccer Network.
I watch soccer on Michigan Soccer Network.
I love watching soccer on the Michigan Soccer Network.
Back to Vitriol. He'll take a shot, and he'll bear it! And then he'll fire it from Billows, and it'll go in! Now Worrell has a good cutback from him. He'll fire one, and that's going to go in! Oh, and both goals so far. He'll fire one, and that's a wonderful save, Trinity. That's missed. Oh, it's Stone! And the... He'll fire one now from distance, and that is in! What a strike by Ben Maher! Well, happy Tuesday. It is Tuesday, April the 4th. 4 days into April, our first overlap show here since last Tuesday. My name's Jonathan Turner. This is Steve Bask. It's been a couple days.
You almost called me Dan?
I almost did. Oh boy, it is Tuesday morning, April the 4th. It is the morning overlap. My name's Jonathan Turner, Steve Bask on my left. And we're back here in the Premier Sports Center studio. Here in Shelby Township, Michigan. I was gone last Thursday. We'll get into where I went and what I did here during the show today. We'll talk about USA, Team USA's women's and their new kits. Maybe talk about some of our kits of the past that we like and enjoy as part of Team USA and much more. So, Steve, this weekend, you had the weekend off. Well, from last Thursday, didn't have a show. So what'd you do? What'd you do this weekend?
Just stayed busy, plenty of house things going on. We had my parents over for dinner at our house for the first time, so having guests over, so that was fun and exciting too. But it's a slow and ever-going process of home ownership and trying to enjoy every moment possible. But ready to get into all the things that we've got going on this week, starting off with our high school schedule, kicking off tonight. We'll dip into that a little bit later, and we've got the DCFC versus Gold Star U.S. Open Cup game tonight. So a lot of things going on, but also just want to remind people, if it's your first time here, please subscribe, like, share, and follow on all our social platforms, especially YouTube. Please go over and hit that subscribe button. It's your way of showing John and I that you care about all the content we're pushing out here at the Michigan Soccer Network.
On your screen right now, you can see that we're just 33 shy of our 3,000 goal. We're at 2,967 the last time I checked. Let me check here real quick while we're on the
make
air
sure we're
here.
Accurate here. Steve may have to eat this chip today if we get this number.
Put that chip up on the screen, as I always say here. I'm going to move to your camera here. There it is. Boom.
Yeah. Looking forward to this. Hopefully we get it ASAP, but I was not mentally prepared to have to do this today. But
probably not. I mean,
what happens.
I would say not today,
but ice cream or milk or rubber gloves.
But yeah, so get to that 3,000. Steve will punish himself. We've talked about that quite a bit here the last week and a half. So excited about the opportunity to see Steve eat that chip. We're waiting.
I'm sure plenty of people
maybe
are,
too patiently is the word.
Come on. We're only 33 people away. Get your friends and family members, get your kids. Just log into their YouTube account, hit that subscribe button, because the closer we get to 3,000, the more I fear this little blue Pocky chip. So.
Yes. Well, I want to remind everybody, too, that this will be available on all listening platforms here later this afternoon. Wherever you listen to your podcast, you can listen to this show, and we appreciate that. Before we move any further, though, let's talk here about the Windermere Hotel. The win a one-night stay opening weekend here. May the 12th is opening weekend. So you must be 18 to enter. Subscribe to MSN on our YouTube. Follow MSN on all social media, and fill out the form that's available on our website. You can go right to the homepage, and you can fill out the form that enters you into the drawing to win a one-night stay opening weekend, May 12th, at the historic Windermere Hotel on Mackinac Island. So take a look at that. That's really, really cool. We had 3 more participants entries yesterday into the into the drawing, and I think so far there's over 75 people who already.
Should be good. Again, you and I had the privilege to stay there for a night or two up in Mackinac this past summer, in a beautiful hotel. So, definitely take that opportunity, sign up, an opportunity to win a free night at a beautiful hotel there up on Mackinac Island.
No question about that. And so got that out of the way. We are tonight here, our first high school game of the season, weather permitting, of course, because the weather, you never know what's going to happen with that. But as of right now, it looks as though it's supposed to be somewhat clear. But either way, tonight we'll be out at Groves High School as they bring in and welcome in number 5 ranked and defending state champions Division I, the Bloomfield Hills Blackhawks.
That game is at 7 p.m. kickoff. We'll have our pregame coverage starting at 6:45 p.m. here tonight on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and Twitch. So wherever you want to watch that, you're more than welcome to do that. Again, that will be kicking off at 7 p.m. Pregame coverage at 6:45. So yeah, we're going to be trying that out this evening and trying some new technology this evening as well, Steve. So hopefully that goes off without a hitch.
Yeah, hopefully the game gets in. I know the weather's been a little hit or miss and some incoming storms and whatnot. So, but then and then tonight I won't be joining you in the booth, but I'll be grabbing some coverage of the Gold Star versus DCFC game tonight in the U.S. Open Cup. Should be an exciting match. Both teams kind of trying to bounce back from recent games this weekend. We had Gold Star open their season this past weekend, falling 3-0 to Chattanooga, I believe it was, in their opening NISA game on the road.
3-0, yep.
It was a 1-0 game for a good portion of that match. I didn't get to see any of it, but I'll chat with Alex Lubianski tonight, I'm sure, and kind of get a sense for where his squad's at and coming into tonight's game. So that should be exciting. And then, same thing with DCFC, losing a game on, was that Saturday night, 1-0 in a game that, plenty of opportunities and just, not being able to find the back of the net. So both teams are going to be looking to get back off the bounce. It's a game in an Open Cup game where both, especially DCFC, understands the impact and the ramifications of how important this type of game can be. It progresses you to the next round. Maybe you host an MLS team. Maybe you go on the road to an MLS team. And then on the flip side, for Gold Star, it's a great opportunity to perform on a big stage against a well-known opponent in a local market that you're going to be competing for fans and attention with at their place, in a hostile environment to go in there and trying to get a result. So should be a really exciting match tonight, and I can't wait to report back on that, and we'll discuss more, I'm sure, on Thursday.
Yeah, Steve will be out there tonight. Dan Stickrat and I will be in the press box in Birmingham as we cover that matchup tonight. And yeah, it's a U.S. Open Cup, so winner go home is how this will work. So the winner will obviously move on to the next round. This is the second round so the winner will go on to the third round of the U.S. Open Cup. You think about this and say, okay, well, realistically, Gold Stars only had one competitive game. There was a scrimmage that they participated in New England here a few weeks back in preparation for their Chattanooga game. So, you just don't know what you're going to expect out of a game like this. Scrappy, you think, maybe hard fought. You think that the edge should go to a Detroit City FC in this one. They're playing at a higher level. They've been tried and true. They've been around for a while, so you would think that the edge should go to them. But anything can happen in these matchups, especially with weather and the way the wind's been, especially at that stadium. We saw against Indy 11. I mean, matter of fact, they were. I think in the game this past Saturday they had a goal called back again, where they had scored a goal and it comes back. Detroit City does not have a problem scoring goals. They just got to stay on side for or try to stay on side for those matchups. So yeah, you think the edge would go to them, but you don't know. And Gold Star FC, which is a team that we're going to be covering a lot this summer because we are their broadcast partner. We will have coverage of that here later this evening and make that available to you here on our YouTube channel. Sometime tomorrow or Thursday. So, but what happened last Thursday, and it's interesting, Steve, because I was joking around with you about this, but I didn't make it on Thursday morning. I did not make it a point to send a message out saying, "Hey, we're not having a show." I didn't do that. And sure enough, I get a phone call on Thursday. And someone's like, "Hey, where's the show? Why isn't the show on the air?" And I was like, "Oops, no, my bad." I had to go out of town, and I'll talk about that in a second. But it was interesting because they called me and they're like, "Where's the show? When's it gonna be on?" And I sent them a message back saying, "Hey, the show's not on tonight or today because I'm on vacation." But it's cool because there's someone out there who's pick up the phone and calling our main number to find out what our shows are, where they're at. That was really cool. So we do appreciate that. Hey, from time to time, we know we're not going to be on the air for whatever reason, whether that be personal and or professional obligations. But either way, it was kind of cool to experience that. And the reason why I was leaving is my best friend, who I've known since I was a very young tyke, 5 years old, 6 years old, something like that. And he had won a trip. He works for a sales organization, and a lot of times these larger corporate sales organizations have what they call President's Club. It's if you finish in the top of your group, you're invited to a trip. And the invitation was to a place in California called Catalina Island, which is right now on my hat, which is. I got that. I purchased the hat. Yes, that's right. But I've never been to California, Steve. So it was the first time that I have ever gone to California. The longest flight that I'd ever been on, prior to this one, would have been to Florida. To 2.5 hour plane ride down south. Going there, it was a 5 hour flight. Coming back was about 3.5 hours. Don't ask me why the difference. My wife asked me the difference. I explained to her it was tailwind, but that's what it was, right? So a little quicker on the way home, but a 5 hour flight. Landed at LAX on Thursday morning at like 11 a.m. and made our way to an Uber and hopped into an Uber down to Long Beach, where we hopped on a ferry. That was a 75-minute ferry, all the way from to Catalina Island. Now, I got to say this because, and my friend, I love him very, very much, but he's motion sick. He got motion sickness. Ooh. So, I can't remember that when we were growing up that we did not go on roller coasters together, but I guess we didn't because he's always had motion sickness. And anyways, when we come back from break, I want to talk about that for a second because very interesting. Is what I would say to how this.
I hope he kept it all in.
We'll talk about his process for staying clean and dry while riding the ferry. Before we head to break here, let's talk here. It is Taco Tuesday. You know what that means? It's Taco Trio at Granite City. $10 Taco Trio with chips and salsa and $3 margaritas. That's right. They don't open until 11, but man, margaritas are aplenty at Granite City in both Troy and Northville. All you got to do is visit Granite City at the corner of I-75 and 16 Mile in Troy or at the corner of 7 Mile and Haggerty in Northville. It's Taco Tuesday, and you're watching the Morning Overlap on the Michigan Soccer Network. Are you looking to grow here in 2023? Let the Michigan Soccer Network help you and your restaurant fill more seats. Help you and your law firm get new clients. Help you and your dental practice find more patients. Find more roofing customers for this upcoming summer. And to help you and your medical practice find new patients. To learn more or get started, visit MichiganSoccerNetwork.com. Don't just burn calories, torch those little suckers. Base Camp Fitness Troy, opening up this March, will help you get maximum results in half the time. Our intensity intervals of cardio and strength training will supercharge your calorie burn, all in just 35 minutes. Make sure to lock in our founder's rate and claim your 2-week risk-free trial by scanning the QR code on your screen. Base Camp Fitness Troy, located at 443 East Big Beaver Road in Troy, Michigan. Granite City Food and Brewery has 2 Michigan locations in Troy and Northville. Serves made-from-scratch food, brews in-house beer, and even has brunch every Sunday from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. To learn more about their daily specials or to book a private party, visit gcfb.com. Make sure you head over to Granite City in Northville at the corner of 7 Mile and Haggerty, or the Troy location at 16 Mile and I-75.
Thank you for stopping by the Michigan Soccer Network. To not miss out on any of the action, all you have to do is simply hit the subscribe button, and that way you're notified every time we bring new content or go live. Thanks for stopping by.
Wait, we're just saying action.
Well,
And action.
hi, we're the Tilly Sisters.
And check out,
We're the Tilly Sisters.
check out our journey on the Michigan Soccer Network.
Okay, you weren't looking up. Hi, we're the Tilly Sisters.
And you can check out our journey on the Michigan Soccer Network.
Do it around the, all right. I'll just go like this. All right. Oh, wait, what are we saying?
Get maximum results in half the time at Basecamp Fitness in Troy. Basecamp Fitness in Troy will open this month, offering 35-minute high-intensity interval training HIIT workouts for the whole body. Lock in the founder's rate and scan the QR code on your screen now. Basecamp Fitness of Troy is located at 443 East Big Beaver Road. To inquire about a membership or amenities, call 586-416-1800 or visit basecampfitness.com.
Welcome you back here into our premier sports center studio in Shelby Township, Michigan. It is Tuesday. Steve, John, this is the morning overlap. And during the break, I turned on TikTok, Steve, and that's probably a mistake. Talking about like dipping French fries into your Frosty and then dipping that into ketchup. And then someone said they dip their steak in ranch. We talk about food a lot on this network, but that's just disgusting. Ranch. I'm sorry if I offend anyone out there who enjoys having a tasty steak dipped in ranch, but
Occasionally I do.
Do you really?
Yeah,
you're disgusting.
Well, see, all right, I don't make it like the primary dipping sauce. Let's be clear. First off, a good steak, you don't need any sauce at all.
That's fair. That's 100% true.
Be very fair about it. But, however, if I'm eating vegetables or a salad or some other side and I have a dipping sauce for that, and I have like if I make sweet potato fries or something at home, I may have barbecue sauce or ranch to dip it in, right?
Sure.
Well, if it's on my plate and I have a piece of steak, it may get a little bit of ranch and just be like, oh, I'm gonna dip this. I don't make it
accidental.
I don't make it no, not saying it just gets on it. I dip it in there. I don't make it I don't put it on my plate as the primary dipping sauce for said steak. Let's be very clear. But if it's there, I will occasionally dip a piece in, and it is pretty good. I can't hate on it. But the fries and the Frosties great, but that's where it ends. You don't need to go.
So I get it. I mean, I've cheese fries dipped in ranch, not bad, right?
Sure.
Yeah. Okay. I get, but
I just love ranch, so I know that I know that I am a little bit out there as far as like.
Well,
give me a bottle of Jets Ranch, and I'll just
to each their own. To each their own. As we we'll. So before the break, I was talking about this trip that I was going to at Catalina Island, and so I knew going into this. My friend had told me a lot over the course of the last month or so, as we were leading into this trip, that that he motion sickness, and he had talked about it last year about how people all around him were throwing up on this boat. And he's like, so even people who say they're not motion sickness get sick, John. And I was like, oh, okay. He's like, so don't eat anything big. I'm like, well, so here I'm at the airport on Thursday morning. There's Andiamo's at the airport here, DTW. So I grabbed myself a nice big breakfast, and because it's a 5-hour flight, and you're not gonna get anything on the plane. You're gonna give you a cookie. When those Delta cookies, by the way, shout out to I think it was Christian Little who posted it.
The Biscoff.
Yeah, was it Christian or was it Jacob? It was either way.
Christian. They're one in the same.
The Littles. One of the Littles mentioned that they had this picture of the Delta cookie on I think it was American Airlines flight, some other flight. They're like, when you're not flying Delta, you still take a Delta cookie. But that's the only thing you get on these flights nowadays, and a half a can of Coke. I'm gonna give you the full one anymore. They usually give you a full can. But so I get all that. We get to Long Beach, and I'm hungry. So I run over. There's a taco truck, which is serving like these really, really good, like traditional, Mexican steak tacos, man. Like with not the flour tortilla, but the corn tortilla, just really, really good, Steve. So I'm sitting there just, eating away, and my poor friend, he hasn't eaten all morning, right? Because he doesn't want anything to come up, He just wants to, get on this boat,
get to Catalina,
get to Catalina,
and then
we'll eat. That's where his head was at. And so we get on the boat, and you don't know what someone's process is going to be until you get there and see it firsthand. So we get on the boat, we sit in the back of the boat, the windows are all over there. There's got to be 300 people on this boat, and we're in the very back, and he grabs his AirPods and puts his AirPods in, grabs his phone, and then he grabs some kind of liquid. It was a little thing about this big, and he rubs it on his fingers and puts it behind his ears. And I've seen those Dramamine patches before you put behind your ears, right? So he puts it behind his ear, and this stuff does not smell good, by the way. And he just he looks straight ahead and does. I mean, and for 75 minutes, we don't say a word to each other. There's not a conversation. There's no look. He is right. He is focused on right in front of him. And meanwhile, I'm looking at the windows and I'm seeing these unbelievable views, rolling past the window, and I'm
oohing and eyeing, I'm sure. Ooh, look at this. Ooh, look at that.
Like my aunt asked, she's like, I was talking to my aunt, and she's like, so what was the fair like? What, did you see all the beautiful sights? I go, no, I saw the chair in front of me, And but anyways, a couple times throughout this trip, he'll reach into his backpack, and I'm thinking that it's like, because he's like, I brought the Delta or the plain puke bags just in case, right? And sure enough, he's reaching into the bag and he pulls out a mint. I'm like, because you're and I'm like giving him like a thumbs up, and he,
we good, buddy, we good,
because I'm thinking like, where he's sitting, is there going to be, because once someone starts throwing up, dude, like that's I mean, I think everyone here can agree that if you start seeing someone hack it up, I think a good majority of us start to not feel very good.
If I smell it, I will puke. It's not good.
Like so thank goodness no one was throwing up around me.
Sure.
But my backpack is right there, so I'm trying to keep my things out of like the danger zones. But we got there, we pulled in, and as soon as we pulled in, and we were like, Doc, it's like changed. Hey man, how you doing?
Oh wow, so it was like he snapped out, like he was in a trance.
Oh yeah,
he was psyching himself to get through it.
And honestly, it's very reminiscent of players that I knew that would, when it came to like getting ready for a game, would be like so in the moment. You know what I mean? That you wouldn't be able to talk to them, right? They were so laser focused that everything on the outside world, they were completely gone, and they were just focused on that one thing that they were doing, that task. Reminds me very much of that. But yeah, shooting on the island, it's really cool. So it's everywhere's walking. It's golf carts and walking. It's very much like Mackinac Island. There are cars on the island. There's quite a few cars. The LA County Sheriff's Department has their own like hub there, and it's all part of LA County. And really, really cool. Very the town itself is only 2 miles by 3 miles in total length. The island is very large, and it only has this one area on the island that's livable. And then there's another part of the island. It's about 10 miles to the I think the north of where we were, that had a smaller town that people could live in. But it was a really cool experience. Like I said, I've never been to California. I mean, the mountains and the sights. I did some zip lining. We rented a golf cart, went around the top of the island where all the mountains were. It was cool, Steve. It was something that I would say that if I could take my wife and kids back for a couple of days, it's not a thing that you'd go to and be there for like a week. Yeah, there's just not enough to do, especially with a young family. I think an older couple, maybe you could go there for a week and just relax and just, whatever. But it's not that kind of a place. You want to go there for a couple of days and then maybe go out and go do something else. But it was fun. And I have no idea. If you asked me what the water looked like on the ferry, I couldn't tell you. It went by pretty quick as far as you seeing the water in the windows. But I did not see anything of substance on the way to Warfro.
Well, sounds like it was a great weekend, and I'm glad you had a good time on your first time in California.
Yeah, I mean, I thought that I was going to be, the airport was.
Did you get mobbed by paparazzi?
I did not get mobbed by paparazzi.
That's good.
We were looking to see. I mean, my friend had said that he saw, because this weekend was WrestleMania, and they had that.
That's right, it wasn't. It was in LA, wasn't it?
It was at SoFi Stadium, so. We could see SoFi Stadium from our Uber. We drove by LA Galaxy Home Depot Center. I think it's still called Home Depot Center, right? On the 405 South. So been on that. Been a lot of car chases I've seen on the 405 South over the day.
Did you find it a little bit strange the first time you got on the freeway and it's like 7 lanes wide, 8 lanes wide?
Yeah.
The first time you get on the freeway and you're like, I got to merge. Hold on, I got to get over there. Like it's quite eye-opening at first.
And we actually got into a Tesla for both there and back from Long Beach. And I had never been in a Tesla before, right? So that was my first time being in a Tesla.
Was there a driver?
There was a driver, yeah. And they don't talk to you. The drivers are not, they're
not friendly?
No, I would say not friendly. They just don't talk. I mean, I'm used to having that conversation with my Uber driver. I mean, aren't you?
As someone who drove for Lyft for a couple of years, it was very much that I would read the people. Like, if you knew.
But if I got in there, like, hey, man, how you doing? And you're like, don't talk to me. That's.
I mean, yeah, I'm sure I've been in plenty of rides where the driver wants nothing to do with discussion. I think it's kind of hit or miss. So
I feel like that's. I don't know.
From a driver perspective, it's not the most ideal to always, because it helps to engage in conversation. I felt like to always make money, like to tips and things like that. However, I think there is if you can read the people that are getting in your car and you can recognize that they don't want to talk, whether it's earphones in or they're just very soft spoken, that's huge for them, because that's also very important. Like, there's people who just want to get in and they don't want to be bothered. You can tell they just want that own space. So it kind of have to, I think, read the room or read the vehicle.
I don't know. I almost feel like if you're going to go in, and again, many years ago that wasn't even a career. I mean, it was your kid taxi cab driver. Right. And now anyone who has a car could basically be their own taxi.
I was brought up to not get into cars with strangers.
I know, but now here we are.
I call them on my phone.
With strangers. You don't call them.
Pick me up.
You don't call them. You just go on the app. But I mean, I almost feel like if you're going to go into that role, you got to be willing to have conversation with people, because you're bringing people into your environment. And but again, hey, to each their own. I don't have any qualms with it at all. I was just saying that from my perspective, that it just seemed they didn't want to talk. But anyways, it is what it is. It is 10:27 here on this Tuesday morning. If you're just joining us, we're talking about my trip to Catalina this past week in Los Angeles, where I was at here over the weekend. A lot happened here in the soccer world over the weekend. Some firings took place. Chelsea, a new manager on the way, right? That's their second manager, 3 years?
Second manager it'll be their third manager this season.
This season, thank you.
They fired 2 this season already.
It's crazy to think about that, right? And how many. But I don't know if this is unique to soccer. I feel like baseball is pretty good about firing managers pretty quick. I think baseball and soccer are pretty close. Football, you give some coaches, maybe in the professional level, I think you give them a half season, 3/4 of the season, and then you fire them. It's very rare that you'll see a coach get fired 2 or 3 games into a season in football. Basketball, I think coaches get fired pretty quick in basketball based on what happened the previous season. If you finish last place last season and you lose your first 5 games, you might get getting tossed. But soccer is one of those sports where, especially when I think of European, right? EPL, you think about Bundesliga, all these leagues on the other side of the pond. Yeah. Do you see an MLS coach get canned as fast?
I don't know. I'm probably not the person to speak on that, and that I don't pay attention enough to
the MLS,
to coaching firings or not in MLS. So I really have no idea. Like I straight up couldn't name you 2 coaches in the MLS right now. I just don't. I don't follow.
Well, when we did that coaches, actually you weren't there for that. That was actually me and Craig Hearn that were talking about. Yeah. Okay.
It's just not. So I mean, I'm not as familiar with MLS coaching hirings and firings. But yeah, it definitely from the EPL standpoint, I mean, teams seem to let guys go at certain points throughout a season, and especially early if it's not going well, and sometimes towards the transfer window in January, and then even just recently, Crystal Palace fires Patrick Vieira, Tottenham fires Antonio Conte, Chelsea fires Graham Potter, all within a matter of 2 weeks. And for some of those teams, it's a hopeful that they'll pick up on the bounce and that new manager bounce it. And for a team like Crystal Palace, it's stay out of the relegation zone. For a team like Chelsea, it's do something. And so there's different reasons for it. But with the no salary cap and sometimes the unlimited funds that some of these owners have in world soccer, it's much easier to let a coach go.
Yeah, I guess my question is, and this is a question I asked to the fan as well, the viewer, is, what is the benefit or not, of firing a coach as quickly as they do? I look at this and say, okay, obviously pulse of the locker room is really important, but I like to think that a lot of these players would probably say that, in a lot of these cases where coaches are getting fired, that they listen to the coach. Like, you know what I mean? I feel like a lot of they believe in the coach. Look at what happened with Leeds, right? With Jesse Marsh, right? I mean, did he lose the locker room?
But I no idea about the Jesse Marsh situation, but like in reference to the most recent Graham Potter situation, it was heavily rumored that he lost the locker room. I mean, to be honest, I'm not sure. Yes, Brighton had a good season last year. He came from Brighton. They were doing well, but it took time for his system to get to that point, and you can't just inject him into Chelsea and say, oh, hey, do the same thing.
Yeah.
I mean, supposedly players were calling him Harry Potter and making Muggle jokes in the locker room about him. So, yeah, like he apparently lost the locker room. I don't know what Jesse Marsh and Leeds, but I think in football the locker room is huge, but sometimes you just need a new voice because these players don't make it to this level and make it to this stage without having X amount of talent. X amount of abilities.
Yeah.
But whether it's changing the formation, whether it's changing the style of play or a tactic and the way you play, which can be completely put down to the manager in which the formation he puts out and the style of play, it's a game in which I think the manager does have a lot of impact. And so making a change can make a reasonable change, from a day-to-day perspective.
No, and I don't disagree with you on that. I'm just saying from the standpoint of you look at you see the EPL with 40 games,
38 games,
38 games. So you think about that and say, okay, well, 11 games into a season, I know there's a lot on the line, right? There's relegation and there's promotion in the EPL, right? Which is not the case here in the MLS, right? You lose out and finish last place, you're still in the MLS next year. You finish in last place in the Premier League, you're going down. Right, you're dropping a level, and then vice versa. If you're in the second division, you win it, you're going to come up, right? And so there's a lot on the line, and I understand that, and I understand getting a good start to a season, and if you don't get a good start, hey, we need to move away. But I almost feel like sometimes depending upon the situation, staying the course is probably better served in some situations, and I feel like when you jump a lot, because Chelsea's what. 2 years away from when they won the Premier League 2 years ago?
Champions League.
Yeah, Champions League, right? They won Champions League. I mean, and I know that there's some people like the coaches, some people don't. I mean, there's a lot of conversation about what happened at Chelsea, and I don't know. I just feel like they need more time.
Well, Chelsea historically has been a club that fires managers and does not keep managers for very long. Reason for it, whether it was previous ownership in Abramovich or new ownership in Todd Bowley, but it doesn't seem to be changing, and they are cycling through managers where then there are other clubs across the world that have been very consistent in trying to manage or give time, but it's that balance between the giving a guy time as a manager and then that expectation from the clubs, the board, the fans, to perform at a high level, and if you're not meeting those expectations, we don't always get the true story of, what were the rumblings in the locker room, what were the things behind the scenes. But all we can look at is what's going on the field. And when the performances and the effort's not there, it is very easy to kind of put it onto the manager to say, is there some new voice that can provoke these players to perform at a different level? From a former player's aspect, yes, so much of it does come down to the players. But I really think, the coaching, it does make an impact, especially when you're talking about styles, formation, substitutions, and how limited some of those things are. The manager impact is huge in the game of world football.
No, I know it is. And but when you look at it and say, hey, well, has it worked for Chelsea firing managers every year?
It has, though. That's the sad part.
It's crazy.
They've won Premier League titles, they've won Champions League titles, and they've done it off the backs of firing guys. Thomas Tuchel, beginning of the season, they fired. He won them the Champions League just a year ago, 2 years ago. And then they have no problem just firing him. Jose Mourinho wins the league, and then they fire him. Like the next, it's a club that's just the way they've handled business. And for them.
But why would a manager go there then? Why would a manager go?
Because Roman Abramovich paid. Because at the end of the day, right now, they're paying, I think, 3 or 4 different managers.
That's ridiculous.
But when you have a Russian billionaire in Roman Abramovich who owns 13 yachts before he sold or got rid of the team, he could pay, it didn't matter. Hundreds or millions of dollars, a $30 million contract to a coach here or there is chunk change to him. And so he was able to do it. So it's a completely different world that world football lives in than the way we handle our pro sports here. But
well,
conversation for another day.
Yeah, that it is. It is Tuesday morning. We're going to step to break here in just a moment. Before we do, let's talk here about what's happening this summer. The FC Barcelona Soccer Camp is an exclusive opportunity to learn the mythologies of the unique Barca style. FC Barcelona coaches will arrive across the United States to conduct the training sessions and teach you the techniques of one of the most successful soccer academies in the world. Coming this July 3rd through the 7th, Barca is coming to the Legacy Sports Center in Brighton, Michigan. Scan the QR code or go to camps.fcbarcelona.us. Use promo code FCBMSN and save $30 off registration. You're watching the Morning Overlap live in our Premier Sports Center studio. Be back. There's how the break.
Thank you for stopping by the Michigan Soccer Network. To not miss out on any of the action, all you have to do is simply hit the subscribe button, and that way you're notified every time we bring new content or go live. Thanks for stopping by.
Clubs love Ollie because it helps them manage their club and accelerate the development of their coaches and players. Every soccer club talks about their focus on development, but nobody actually measures it until now. We've developed the capability for every one of your teams to easily capture pro-level game stats in real time using a mobile phone. It's one thing at the end of the day to look up the results for your club, but how valuable would it be for directors to actually see how each team played? How well did a team possess the ball and control the game? How well did they create dangerous chances inside the box? How did your top players perform? And how is each coach improving from week to week? Ollie provides this powerful data through a club dashboard that shows club results and lets you drill down into any game or player. Ollie also includes team and club management that lets you communicate instantly with coaches, parents, and players, and lets directors see every club event so they can easily coordinate visits to matches and training sessions. It's got everything you need in one simple app. Reach out to us to get your club started today.
We're going to try and win this thing. We're going to go for it, right? You're watching your team, you're watching them play, you're watching them practice. Is this a team you thought at the beginning of the year was going to be there at the end?
Yes. And honestly, I told my team this, and I told a lot of people this. It wasn't unexpected. I think we have a top program. I was actually pretty disappointed that we hadn't won one up until now. I think we've had some great years before, 2016, 2017, 18, even 21. 19, where things just didn't click. They didn't work out for us at the end of the season, where we had great seasons and didn't work out. But this year, everything came together, and to be honest, it wasn't unexpected.
Okay. No, and that's good. You think about it. You said there's lots of times you watch, and we had Todd Hugh here a few weeks ago, and there was a year that his team did not make it all the way to a state final, and that was the team that he said was the better team that he thought was going to go. And then when they won it, and maybe not been the better team he had, but that's sometimes how it shakes out.
Join Evolution Soccer Training for Finishing Fridays. Every Friday from 7 to 8 p.m., players will receive specialized training dedicated to enhancing your ability to score goals. Visit evolutionperformancetraining.com and use promo code MSN10 to get 10% off your session today.
Welcome back into our Premier Sports Center studio here in Shelby Township, Michigan. John Turner, Steve Bask. It is Tuesday, April the 4th, and we mentioned here as part of the conversation today, we wanted to get into the best and the worst of Team USA and their jerseys. A new jersey announced here just recently on the women's side as they get ready to embark on the World Cup here, 2023 World Cup coming up here later this summer. Their uniform is pretty good. I like it. And just so everybody knows, we aren't going to put it on the screen for copyright issues. But if you want to take a look at it, I'll put a link in our comment section and in our description here later today.
Now, when you say you like it,
yeah,
because I think you're in the minority, to be fair.
Well, I look at it and say, okay.
Are you talking about the home or the away, or the white or the blue, I guess?
Well, I like the blue. I'm not know if I like the it looks like they took a brush and just kind of like splashed it across the jersey.
Yeah.
The home jersey is considered white, right?
I believe so. Yes.
Yeah. So the away blue. I like the blue. That one I like. Again, not a fan of the paint like splash jersey. I think that's what I'd call it. That's the best. I think the best way to put it. I mean,
way to describe it.
I like the blue. I like the blue ones. I mean, they're to be fair, a lot of times we've been seeing in the last number of years with these jerseys is they've kind of gotten away from what we consider to be the true colors. The red, white, and blue. That one has again that. I don't quite get the white one, but the blue one I get. It's red, white. There's no white, but it's red and blue, and I like it. It looks good. What are your thoughts on the away one?
I hate them both.
I hate them both.
I guess it's hard for me. There's very few jerseys that have come along and the USA has worn that I can get behind in general.
That's fair.
And that's just because I just disagree with the fundamental point in which Nike does business. Nike uses the U.S. men's national team as an opportunity every cycle to create a new uniform, a new look, to sell jerseys to make money. I get that. I'm not against the business side of what they're trying to do. However, what they've failed to do is soccer, for most countries, there is a recognizable look or feel to the jerseys to the national teams in which you know what you're watching when you watch the screen. I have no idea when the U.S. comes out in white with splatter or blue or red, or stars and stripes, or up or sideways stripes, or black kits with red and blue shoulder sleeves, or these crazy moon jerseys that they've worn the last couple of years. My issue is that, again, I just think it's lazy from Nike, and some would say, oh well, if you came up with the same jersey, that's lazy. Brazil, Argentina. They all have a very recognizable kit. Yes, there are alterations, maybe the thickness of a stripe, patterns built within. My favorite kit of all time is still the 2012 striped kit. Why? It's a recognizable kit. It's the hoops, the red and white, looks like our flag, very recognizable, associated with the team. Makes sense.
That polo look to it,
Yes.
Yeah.
But then there was also there was some variations on it where they wore a white with a fade of red and blue stripes.
2018
and then an all red one that was a red on red. And some of those have been nice. I like the look of the stripes because it makes sense. It goes along with the identity of which the United States, by our flag, could be recognized. Not every country, right? I mean, why does Italy wear blue? There's a whole story behind why they wear blue. It's not in their flag, so it doesn't have to be flag related, right?
Yeah.
But Brazil, you're going to see them in those yellow kits, the blue shorts.
Yeah.
When you watch Argentina, you're going to see the blue and white.
Yeah.
Away kits, the secondary kits, yes, of course, that's when you can have fun with it and do things. But I guess my thing is I've never liked the U.S. soccer jerseys. When I worked at Soccer World, I even told the Nike reps sometimes when I was just like, I'm just telling you, like, this looks like shit. Like, it's just not, like, it's just like you guys gave it to a bunch of, like, teenagers and just let them just go crazy designs. And, like, I understand there's part of that, the training gear. There's some gear and apparel that should definitely have that street food, like, influence. But then there's just, to me, like, and the women's jerseys have been no better, to be fair, in some ways. I mean, some of them have been a little bit more classy, a little bit more traditional style, but a lot of times they share the same kits, or some of the women's kits have been just, very off-brand to me. And it just, again, I understand that Nike views this as we are trying to make money. We're going to try to get new jersey sales. But, like, people aren't buying new national team jerseys every 2-3 years. They're just not. One of the old sash style jersey was a good one that I thought that we had in years past. But again, I think getting away too much into the bright, like, neon type reds and blues rather than like a traditional, like, blue and red. Every time we do that, I don't know. If we want to be taken serious as a soccer nation, at least try to look the part. I mean, yes, you can have tweaks, and yes, there's nations that take chances with uniforms and stuff, but I just feel like Nike's given, like, a free rein and, like, a super long leash. And I know it's probably controversial in some ways, but I think all their jerseys are just mostly they're shit. And they create especially on the EPL side or country side, they create a template. And Adidas does the same thing in some ways. This last World Cup we saw a little bit more variation, but they come up with a template and they just stamp every club logo or national logo on, and they change the colors to match. And it's just, I don't know, I just think it's lazy, and that's my hot take on the U.S. national jerseys, I guess.
Well, okay, so when you ask me I don't hate the jerseys because to me they look clean, and you can see the logo. I think the USA logo is a much better logo than it's ever been.
I do love the redesign. I think the redesign is great.
Yeah, so I think that helps when it comes to specifically to this jersey and to other jerseys like it. And I don't disagree with you on the fact that when you watch Brazil, you're right. And I think the reality about other countries, unfortunately, is that those countries, the soccer is a staple of their culture, and here it's not. Yep. So we are a country that is so diverse and that is so, to be fair, all over the map. To have a jersey or a theme jersey that stays the same for the most part is not something that's really ingrained in our culture. I'm not disagreeing with you, but every year we get a new jersey. For every team, it's always something different. Whatever. And I look at the jerseys that I like with the. If I look back at the day. I don't hate the collared jerseys from 2014, the solid whites. I like that. But then I look at the long sleeve one that Christian Pulisic's wearing, where actually
the light blue sleeves.
I like that. It doesn't.
Hated it.
You hate it
because, again, to me, it's just a weird colored blue. If it would have been a little
darker blue,
a darker blue, I think it probably hits. And then 2018, they go to the white with the fade red to blue. Loved that look. I thought that one was gorgeous.
Yeah. 2020, the solid whites with the red.
I mean, I don't mind some of the solid whites. Like, I think the white jersey should be a clean. Like, it's like England's jersey. England's home white jersey is always going to be white.
Yep.
With very little blue, very little bit of red, and that's it. Occasionally they've added gold. Occasionally they've done some little things here with a cross and coming through. But like, it sticks to the tradition of what it is. And the U.S. jersey is constantly changing. Like I said, 2012 was my favorite. The men and women wore the hoops jersey. And it's something that for me was just always my favorite. And even before that, the late 90s, early 2000s, I thought a lot of the away kits were absolutely bizarre. Some of the home kits were very just modern tweaks, but I think you should, at least one of the jerseys should have a formatted, somewhat iconic type look. And whether it's the white jersey, blue jersey, it doesn't matter.
Well, I think that your home kit probably should be the staple, right? That one should probably not change a lot, and if it does change, it's simple stuff, right? Maybe where you're embossing something, or you're adding maybe again like you're adding more stars, right? Because you won something. I don't disagree with you, but if I look at it from the standpoint of does it look good? Like the jersey that Christian Pulisic's wearing in the long sleeve, like that's a jersey that I think I could actually wear. And be okay wearing it. Because, you think about like football and baseball jerseys and basketball. They're not jerseys that I think that, for me, I could not wear that except to a game. Like I would wear a Lions jersey to a Lions game. I can't wear a Lions jersey anywhere else, in my opinion. I just wouldn't feel weird. I could wear a hoodie. Hoodies go everywhere. But jerseys are meant for games, right? I feel like this is a jersey that I could wear, maybe with some slacks, you know what I mean, and that's good for a lot of soccer jerseys. I feel like you could do that with too, right?
Oh, absolutely.
So again, when you ask me about like whether I hate something or I like, I've looked from the standpoint of just looking at it. I don't mind the jerseys, some of the more recent jerseys with the men's side. And if we're looking for continuity, if we're looking for consistency, if we're looking for a look that every time the U.S. men's national team steps or women's team steps on the pitch, and we know that that's the team. I don't know if we're ever going to get that.
Well, no, we won't.
Because we're just not that nation,
No.
And while my wife's Brazilian, and I can say this, I know Brazil. You're right. I mean, when they're wearing those yellow and blue, right? It's Team Brazil. I mean, you can spot them. Argentina, I mean, same thing, right? You know that light blue jersey with the black shorts is going to be a thing, right? I think it's the black shorts they still wear, but you know it, man. You can see it, you can feel it. I mean, Team USA. Now, honestly, if they could perform better on the field, do you give a shit? if they do better, if they start winning stuff, does the jersey mean more?
I guess that's the problem is like I give a shit because I used to work in the industry of selling the jerseys, and you deal with people walking in on a daily basis, and people like, I'm not buying this. And so like, it's hard to know what people buy. So yeah, like I cared, and you're right. Would I care as much if the team was winning? No.
Like you personally, not you as the
yeah, but like at the same time, like I think it's a disservice to our women who have won to be put in this uniform that looks like paint splatter.
When
like, it just, to me, it's just a lack of, it's a lazy, just, I get it's different, but that doesn't mean it's great. And so, yes, the women win, and that's the reason the women's jerseys sell. Why? Because people can come back in 4 years and they're usually adding a new star to it.
Yeah.
And that's good and that's great. And that's the only reason I think some of these jerseys do get pushed further and have sold decently is because they're getting it for John, it would surprise you how many people would come into our store and want the women's jersey because they wanted the stars on it and wanted a women's player, and they weren't females that were coming and shopping. Plenty of male customers wanting the women's jersey.
Yeah.
And again, so yes, if they win, you want it more because of the stars and because of that. But I mean, from my personal friends, like I know plenty of people that haven't bought a U.S. men's national jersey in, 8-10 years because it's just they're not coming up with anything worth spending my money on.
No, I'm not disagreeing with you, but so here's so I had a chance this morning to look at the kit design for Team USA women's side, and they explained the kit. I'm going to read this off, okay? So starting with listening to the players who embrace their role as trendsetters and boundary pushers, the design, colors, aesthetic of the jerseys were heavily influenced and built by the players. The players' insight were combined with Nike designers' inspiration from the abstract expressionism and is an international art movement that started back in the 1940s in New York and then shifted art epicenter from Europe to the U.S. So the home kits were designed, reflects an unexpected take on the tradition of wearing a white at home and features a bespoke drip paint technique pattern, so the paint. Highlighting the energy of the U.S. women's national team and how they are diverse players and personalities, but also united. The action painting method pattern features a distinctive placement, making every single jersey unique, meaning that all those paint splatters are different on every kit, which that's kind of cool, right? I mean, I know you're like, whatever, right? But that doesn't seem terrible. These jerseys also feature distinctive gold branding as a nod to the team being the 4-time World Cup champion, and will be paired with blue shorts and white socks. So the women, based on this post, were heavily involved in the process of making these kits.
I've waited for this day for a long time. You can probably tell. All right, so the women's kit, cool. They're all different. You know why? Because when they create the pattern, they didn't want to have to create. It would be very difficult to create a splattered pattern that you repeat over time. So therefore, Nike just says, "Oh, they're different and unique," because you can't create a pattern like that on a piece of material and repeat it exactly, or it would look very odd if they all were standing next to each other with dots in the same spot. But then they're going to sell it to you as, "Oh, they're unique and different, just like all the players on the team." That's fine, but it's like every team that does a crest reveal and they want to describe every little piece of the crest and what it means and why this is there. Like, some of it's convenient and some of it is intention. And this is convenient that the splattered pattern exists, and knowing that it can't repeat itself because that would look silly, they're going to say, "Oh, it's unique and every player's jersey is going to be different." Sure, of course it is. That's fine. And again, if the players voted for it and that's what they want to wear, fine. But tell me where the number goes on that. You're going to have to now blank out a spot to put a front number on it. Must have a front number. So that jersey's never going to look spotted. You're going to have a number. You're going to have that World Cup patch on it. I don't know. Jersey design is something that I get very worked up for.
Very worked up on that.
I've always hated the U.S. design. Always. Again, I think there's a couple mixed in that have been very good. But I just think a lot of it's, they're doing it for sales, and I think they don't give the fans any, they don't do the fans any service. They do the fans a disservice by not offering a quality product.
But Steve, I don't, I understand where your passion comes from. I understand what you're talking about, and I get it. And retail versus what the team is trying to accomplish.
Sure.
Because here's the problem, right? The
things.
reality is that you're trying to put a team on the field, and at 99.999% of all clubs in this country, no one cares about the retail side of the jersey.
Yeah,
right?
but Nike does.
But
Nike cares more
my
about
point, though,
that.
is like the club. When I say clubs, I'm thinking about, okay, the clubs that we're talking about. They're, the youth club, the amateur club, right? They're not selling jerseys, so they want what their players want, what's best fit, and they're going to make these designs that are going to be big, the players are going to really love. It's not for the fan per se.
Yeah,
but then you get into
this.
this. But then you get into like, hey, the MLS, or you're trying to sell jersey numbers and player jerseys and all that kind of stuff. Then yes, the design does become important. And important to the standpoint of from a retail standpoint, not necessarily what the product on the field is.
Right.
I think that's the big difference, right? Because you think about the average, again, you think about the club soccer, they're putting out jerseys that are cost effective, that players are going to like, the hopefully parents are going to like, and if they whatever, they're not going to sell these to anybody else but the players, right? But and then now these ones they have to be a fit not only for the player but a fit for the person who's going to want to buy them, and that's a hard thing to. I think the diehard soccer fan that you're like you, I think they do care about this to the point that but I think the Alex Morgan or the Rapinoe fan or the whatever fan is going to buy that, they don't care. I don't think they care. They don't care about what the jersey looks like. They just want to have Alex Morgan's name and the number on that jersey, and they're going to wear that to the game. They don't care. And every time a new one comes out, it's just like me. Every year the military sweatshirt comes out or the military gear for the NFL, and every year my dumb ass goes and buys that $90 sweater or whatever the hell that thing is. It's the same sweater, just in a different color with the flag placement. Everything looks basically the same except they just changed the color. And I'm paying $90. I have 7 of them. I've bought one every year for like the last 7 years. Hook, line, and sinker. Right? I mean,
gotcha.
I mean, if the reality is, I don't and here, and please, for those of you at home or wherever you're watching this, or listening to this, please don't take offense to this. The average soccer fan has no idea. I was sitting on a plane ride home, and there were a parent sitting next to me. Their 2 kids are sitting in front of me. They're playing FIFA Ultimate on their iPad. So I know they're a soccer fan. I asked them, hey, kids play soccer. Oh, yeah, they love soccer. Who do they play for? I have no idea. The father who's writing the check to the club has no idea who their kids play for. He gave me 2 different clubs. Which one are we on, honey? And the wife had to answer the question. He had no idea. And he goes to the games and sees his kids wearing the jerseys. And he had no idea that Detroit City FC exists. No idea.
And they live in Michigan?
They have no idea. There's a professional team here. Yes, it's called Detroit City FC. They play at Keyworth Stadium. 8,000 fans. He's like, oh my God, I had no idea. They live like in Commerce Township. They don't live like in Grand Rapids, on the other side of the earth. I mean, they live in Metro Detroit. There are a lot of people out there that just love the game for whatever reason, and they have no idea. And they are just like me when it comes to the Lions. They are laser focused on buying that jersey or that thing because that's their team. That is their player. Matt Stafford. When I went to Minnesota last year, I got a Lions hat, and I had Matt Stafford's number put on it, even though he was no longer a Lion.
Why?
It was an extra $3. It's a free.
So put Stafford on it?
I like Stafford. As far as I'm concerned, is the best quarterback to ever put a Lions jersey on.
Probably not wrong, but you didn't win anything.
No, but I didn't. I really wanted that name on my hat, so I got it.
It's like a Harry Kane fan.
Well, I mean, maybe, but my point though is that hook, line, and sinker, as you said it. I think that there are a lot of fans out there that are very much like you. That I would say from an educational standpoint about soccer are like there's a chunk of you guys here, and there's a chunk of people kind of like me who's at the bottom who don't know shit, and there's a bunch of people in the middle who know just enough. You know what I mean? Like there's Steve up here in this upper echelon, a fan, and then there's a whole bunch of Johns down here in this lower echelon, and there's a bunch of everybody else in the middle, all figuring their way out in this world, and they're gonna they're gonna say that jersey looks cool, like I just did 10 minutes ago.
Yep.
And everybody else is like, all these Steve fans, like, no, that thing is terrible. What an ugly jersey. Why can't they be like Argentina?
Yeah.
Because it's
we're America, and we don't do anything right.
We don't, man. I mean, even the things we do right aren't actually right. I mean, we just say they are. So
it's true.
But anyways, it is 11 o'clock, and that means it's time for us to wrap. Reminder here, again, tonight, our first game of the season, our high school matchup here tonight. It is Birmingham Groves taking on Bloomfield Hills Blackhawks, ranked number 5 in the state according to the Michigan High School Soccer Coaches Association, and they are the defending Division I state champions, being Northville last year 2-1 in the penalty shootout. And so we'll be seeing them here tonight. Live kickoff at 7 p.m. Coverage begins at 6:45 here this evening. I want to remind everyone again that Steve will take the One Chip Challenge when we get to 3,000 total subscribers on YouTube. We're at 2,967, so we're not far away. Not far away at all. So any final thoughts here, Steve, before we skedaddle?
No, just excited to kick off the season. It's really our first broadcast in several months. We had a couple things this winter, so be exciting to, you guys will be calling that game tonight, hopefully. Fingers crossed the weather coincides with a good broadcast, and then hopefully we get a good entertaining match down at Keyworth tonight. So looking forward to that and taking in the game from a different angle, and hopefully catch a couple of other guys for some interviews after the game, post some post-game reaction, and get back to more discussion on Thursday.
That we will. As right now, it still looks like we're going to be okay, at least based on everything that we're seeing here. So, but that will be a wrap here on this Tuesday morning. As I move over to our main camera here, and there it is. Boom. But yes, Steve, man, thank you. It was great to be back here in Michigan. It's still a little jet lagged, after that trip to Catalina, that 3-day trip to the west side of the country. But anyway, we'll be back here on Thursday morning with more Morning Overlap tonight. Again, live here at Birmingham Groves High School. And then on Thursday, we're out at Troy High as they welcome in Rochester Adams, number 13, welcoming in number 15 in the state. So a good matchup here coming up on Thursday as well. But from all of us here at the Michigan Soccer Network, have a great rest of your day, and we'll see you later tonight.